Lines can be parallel, but they can also be perpendicular. At the end of this lesson, you'll be able to write an equation of a line that's perpendicular to another line. Alrighty, let's look at the definition of perpendicular lines, and then again we'll do a couple examples. So perpendicular lines have slopes that are opposite reciprocals. Alright, so opposite reciprocals means that if one's positive, the other one's negative, and reciprocals means the flip. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a couple examples so you can, so you can kind of see what's going on with perpendicular lines. And if you could think of like perpendicular lines in real life, the corners of rooms are perpendicular, and different places like that, because it's going to make the buildings a little bit more sturdy when we put them together that way. All right, so if I draw a line like this, a perpendicular line, I know that most of you are very familiar with at least what perpendicular lines are. They do cross at a right angle. And you'll notice like this first one, if this one had a slope of 3, then notice this one is headed in the opposite direction and it's not as steep as that one, and it would have a slope of -1/3. Okay, if I've got two examples of perpendicular lines with an equation, let's say I have y equals 2/5 x plus 4. One that would be perpendicular to that would be y equals -5/2x, and then I could put anything. I'll just put +1. But notice what I did. I flipped this. So the 2/5 became 5/2, and then I took the opposite. So this was positive, so my new one is negative. And I just want to show you, if I graph it, how they do turn out to be perpendicular. If I start at up at 4 on that first one, and then I'm going to go up 2, and then over 5. Okay, so there's my first one. And then my second one, I start up at 1, but this time I'm going to go down 5, and then over 2. And notice how the lines did, for the most part, turn out to be perpendicular. So that's what we're talking about with perpendicular. All right, so would you please try to write equations of two lines that are perpendicular? Okay, we can come up with anything for the first one. Let's see, I think I'm going to do -3x plus 5. Okay, so if I'm going to find one that's perpendicular, I need to take the -3, and sometimes it's helpful if you have it as a fraction so there's something to flip, so I'm going to flip it and make it 1/3, and then the opposite of negative would be positive, so it's going to be 1/3 x, and then I can put anything I want. This time I think I'll put -10. The biggest thing is that the slopes, you're looking for them to be opposite reciprocals of each other. All right, let's use that information to actually write some equations of lines. In these examples, write an equation of the line that passes through the given point and is perpendicular to the given line. All right, so this one is -1/4 and y equals 5x minus 3. And again, I'm just going to draw a first picture so we can kind of see what's going on with this problem. So -1/4 is to the left 1 and up 4. And then y equals 5x minus 3 is a line that starts down at -3. From here, I'm going to go up 5 over 1. Okay, so what I'm looking for is a line that's perpendicular to this line that goes through the point that I drew. So it's going to look something like that. So I am looking for the equation of that line that I just drew. So let's see if we can do it. All right, so I'm going to look at this line, y equals 5x minus 3. I know my slope, instead of having a 5 here, I know that I need to flip it, and right now it's 5/1, so it's going to be 1/5. And since this one's positive, we need that one to be negative, and then x. And this one says -3, but I don't know what mine should say yet, so I'm just going to put plus b. And again, like I suggested in my previous video, sometimes it's helpful to just scribble that information out because we don't need it anymore. Okay, now it's just a normal solving problem. Let's label our x and our y, and now let's plug in what we know. We know the y is 4. We know the x is -1, and then plus b. So I'll have 4 equals -1/5 times -1 is +1/5 plus b. To get b by itself, I'll subtract 1/5. And 4 minus 1/5 is 3 4/5. Okay, so the equation of my line will be y equals -1/5 x plus 3 4/5. And if you can look at that, you would notice that it is crossing a little bit after the 3, that's where the 3 4/5 would go. All right, this next one we won't graph unless you'd like to. Go right ahead. Okay, this one, again, it's going to go through the point 2, -3. It's perpendicular to this line that they're giving me right here. So I know my equation is going to say y equals, instead of being -2/3, it's going to be positive. Instead of 2/3, it's going to be 3/2x. And I don't know plus what, so I will again put plus b. And I'm just going to scribble that out because I'm done using it. Now I'm going to label my x and my y, plug in what I know, so I'll get -3 equals 3/2 times 2 plus b. I'll now have -3 equals 3/2 times 2 is 3 plus b. To get rid of the 3, we'll subtract 3 from both sides, so I'll get b equals -6. And now I'm ready to write my equation. It's just y equals 3/2 x minus 6. And that final equation I did get from this first equation, I just plugged the b into the problem. All right, we have one more to try. On this one, would you please pause the video, try it on your own, and come back and see how you did. Alrighty, if I'm perpendicular to y equals -3x plus 4, I know my slope is going to be y equals, it's going to be the opposite of this, which will be positive, and if this is 3/1, my slope will be 1/3. And then again, it's going to be plus some number I don't know yet, so I will put plus b, and I don't need that equation anymore. Label my x and my y. I'll get 7 equals 1/3 times 5 plus b, and I'll have 7 equals 1/3 times 5 is 1 2/3 plus b, and if you're not sure with that answer, use your calculator to help you out, please. Then to get rid of positive 1 2/3, I'm going to subtract 1 2/3 from both sides. So I will end up getting b equals 5 and 1/3. So my final answer is going to be y equals my 1/3 x, and again I got that up from right here in this problem, and then plus my b, which happens to be 5 and 1/3. So hopefully now you can write an equation of a line that's perpendicular to another line.